Alright guys, what's going on? Finally, feels good to be doing a regular video again, because I've been doing so many live streams and being on live streams this past week. So, I think my brain just subconsciously just keeps telling itself, like, you don't want to watch the rest of the Puppet Master franchise, do you? Like, you really don't want to do this. So, Puppet Master 3 from 1991 is directed by David something. I won't even attempt his name because I tried it in the Killer Eye video that I did months ago. So, this guy's done like a decent amount of full moon pictures, but a lot of them under different names. So, even he's not really happy with anything that he does here. Only thing I remember about this is that Richard Lynch is in it, and that this is a prequel to the first two, and it takes place in like World War II. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's watch Puppet Master 3 and tear this fucking movie apart, most likely. Yeah, so we're in 1941 in Berlin during World War II, which makes me wonder because I didn't remember when I did the first video, because I guess I wasn't paying attention, what year that took place in, like when Toulon shoots himself in the head, like at the hotel. I'm gonna guess, I mean, this is the prequel, so I'm guessing it's like a year or two after this. I don't know, I really don't give a shit either, but this is a scientist who is played by the same guy who plays Mr. Pitt from Seinfeld, so that's nice to see. And they're trying to get him to reanimate dead corpses in order for soldiers on the war front to use those soldiers, the dead ones, as human shields. I don't know. I mean, would that give you much of an advantage? I mean, and sooner or later, your body takes enough gunshots to it and just gets torn apart. It's not going to be a good shield anymore. Like, eventually, it's just going to be mush, and then you're not going to have a shield, and you're going to die. I don't know, and it doesn't start off with the music, which I'm very upset about, because I love the theme song to Puppet Master, and usually starts right at the beginning. Do we get it here in the beginning? No, we don't get it at all. So I'm very upset, but let's continue. Yeah, we got the music. I spoke too soon, but it's not at the beginning still. It's like after the 4 minute opening, so points off for that. But we got the music. Still here, different instrumentation again, like the second one, but I definitely like the original Puppet Master movies score the best, because, I don't know, it sounds puppety, if that makes sense. Doesn't, but it does to me. And during that opening scene, there's like one of the German soldiers that waits in the car while the other one goes in to bitch at the doctor and saying that you're supposed to be able to do this and you got to keep your end of the bargain, blah, 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 blah. He starts playing with a marionette. Like, he just like, opens his car door and is just sitting sideways, like out the door. And he just starts like playing with a marionette. I don't know. I don't know why he does it. I don't know why he has a marionette just with him for no reason. It's weird. The entire idea of having a puppet show with Hitler versus a six shooter, that's genius. Like, it really is. And I just like kind of thought too that probably shouldn't put the words genius and Hitler in the same sentence, but you know what I'm. All right. Apparently, it's because that guy with the marionette is also like a puppet maker because he goes to visit Toulon. So I guess it kind of makes sense, but still not really. Like, still, even if he is a puppet maker, well, puppet maker just like while killing time, just steps out of the car, sits there, and plays with a fucking puppet. Like, come on, this doesn't happen. And all the puppets so far look awesome. Tunneler and Jester and who else have we seen? Six Shooter looks awesome. Hitler looks awesome. That's the only way I can say that. And we have not seen Blade yet, so comment back with how he's looking. So I just choked on a pretzel and almost died. So I figured that was something to add here, but apparently I'm fine. But the guy who plays Toulon in this looks so much younger, like way too young than the guy who plays him in the first one. In the first one, it looks like you can just and he die and he just fall over and burst into dust. This guy looks way younger than that, and yes, it's a prequel. But I looked that up, and apparently, because it was bothering me which year the first that scene in the first Puppet Master took place when he kills himself. Apparently, there's like a whole timeline issue with these movies. That in the first one it was 1939, and now this is the prequel, but it's 1941. And like other things don't line up right. Like so, I don't know. It's like a whole weird thing, but it's known. So at least people notice it, and it's the thing. So discount Andrew Toulon, the other puppet maker, is talking to Toulon. He's trying to figure out like how do you make your puppets move? It's so like without strings. It's so realistic. And he says he uses motors. It's his own special. Who's fucking believing that? Come on, in 1941, and this guy's been making puppets his whole life. He's never heard of motors and stuff being used to do what Toulon's doing. I think he would know if that was a thing, but he doesn't. Then they get in like a nice little passive aggressive argument, and then he ends up leaving. And then he ends up taking pictures while Toulon is injecting all his puppets, and he says it's like dinner time for one of them. He's like, "You're always the last one to eat." So does he has to do this all the time? Like, does he always like every day, every night, he has to inject them with this green liquid for them to like keep being alive? Because after he dies in the first movie, they're never injected again with anything. We've never seen this before. So if that's a thing, it was a thing for this movie because it didn't exist in the first one or the second one. Because apparently you have to, yeah, you got to inject these puppets for dinner time. It sounds so ridiculous just coming out of my mouth. But apparently that's what you got to do. You have to feed them this green fucking substance, chemical, inject it into them, and that's their dinner, and then that keeps them going. I'll see if he does it again, because maybe it's just a one-time weird fucking decision that they threw in here that doesn't relate to anything. But no way in the first two, they didn't need injections. It's not like they were dying of fucking some weird disease and that they need their injections every 24 hours. No. They were just walking around fine for like years after Toulon killed himself. So like I said, I don't remember past the fourth movie or this one really. I don't like remember any of this. But like if it's explained then, like in a later installment, I guess we'll find out then. But for now, it's fucking bullshit, and it never happened. I can't take it seriously. Every time I see the scientist, who's the guy who played Mr. Pitt on Seinfeld, all I can think of is him. I want a pair of socks that fit that. That's all I can think of when I'm looking at him. Like 100%. It's hilarious. So I guess it's called Toulon's Revenge because the German cops, I guess. I don't know what they call them over there. I've never been to Germany. The cops, the war people, the people with guns. The people with guns that will shoot you if you are out of line and don't follow Hitler. Like, came over to Toulon's place after the other guy, the other puppet maker, as he says. Now I don't even know if it's true or not. I don't think he made fucking puppets. But he had the one in the car. So I don't know what's going on really. But they came to his place, to Toulon, and all the army people or soldiers, whatever, they're there. And they end up taking his chemical, and they end up running and take his puppet. And Justin Pitt from Seinfeld runs over, and he's just more fascinated with what's going on. He's like, "This is incredible. Like, I want to talk to you later." And then they end up accidentally shooting Toulon's wife. And nah, you don't fuck with Toulon's wife, because Toulon is going to get his revenge. And that's why we get the title of the movie, I'm guessing. I guess. So this is just like a little advertisement side note, because I'm watching it on Tubi during the ads. Have you ever seen anyone so fucking happy to have new paper towels? You know what I'm talking about? Like, these people in these commercials are always like jump shit out of their pants, happy to death that they got just like double ply paper towels versus whatever the hell they had before. They're so stupid, all of these commercials. They're just the happiest people on earth. And a paper towel has not made me happy ever. Ever in my life. Think in your life. Have you ever been made from sad to happy by the presence of a paper towel? No? The answer is no. Nobody has. So it just makes them more ridiculous. I had to throw it in there because I'm sure there's not going to be too much to say about this movie. as I can tell already. Although the commercial with the JG Wentworth 877 cash now, that's the reason, one of, that I don't keep a gun around me in hand's reach. Because I am so sick of hearing that fucking commercial, and I would have probably blown my brains out. But even better is if I choked on that pretzel and died, then I wouldn't have had to hear it this time. So there's ups and downs to pretzels versus guns. Should have a debate one day. Gun, pretzel. Which one's better? Just a thought. Alright. So I said this shit in the last one and in the first one. But you see a shot here of one of the Germans taking Pinhead, like carrying him. He is at least 3 foot tall. Like he's just like from here is where he's holding him like this. His head is up here and his body goes down like all like down to his ribs. So again, when they're in the elevator in the beginning of the first one and running around and no one sees these fucking puppets, like I'm always going to bring it up. Like anytime we see this in one of these movies, because it's absolutely insane. And of course, they're fucking puppets that are coming to life. That's why I get to do what I love doing. This is a fucking stupid franchise to begin with. So you got to point out the stupid things because it makes it even fun. Or more fun? More fun. Absolutely love the cars back in that time, though. Beautiful stuff. And then they go burn down Toulon's like little where he does his puppet shows and shit. I don't know why. Like, why do that? They already have Toulon. Like, it's not like he's getting away. That old man, like escaping from a Nazi compound or some shit like that, never gonna happen. So why burn all his stuff and like his little marionette, whatever they're called, the boxes that he stands behind and does the show in? Is it because they wanted just to have a cool little fire shot or so? I'm gonna say it has to do with wanting a cool fire shot in the movie. They really couldn't get like an older actor that looks closer in age to the Toulon from the first movie to play Toulon in this. Like it's just really distracting, especially now that I know that the first one, that scene took place in '39. And this is the prequel and somehow takes place in 41, but it's like in those, the timeline made sense, and there's only a 2 year gap. Toulon in the first movie, compared to this one, looks like he just went on a 2 year chain smoking, heroin addiction, alcoholism bender, and that's why he looks the way he does in the first movie. Like, that's how different in age they look. I don't know if it's just me, but it's really distracting. It's like, that's not Toulon. Like, this is some young imposter Toulon. I don't know. The puppets look really good, though. So at least we have that going for it. Like, I'm sure they look good throughout the series. I know a lot of these were, I don't even know if this probably was too, like direct-to-video. But usually as a franchise, especially one that has like fucking 25 entries in it. Not that many, but there's a ton of these movies. And like I said, I'm not doing this whole franchise like altogether because I'd be bored out of my tits. There's no way it's going to happen. So I think Tubi has like up to like the 7th or 8th one. That's where I'm stopping. Because then it gets into the whole war shit, which is it's just already doing here, and I've never been into like war movies or anything like that. So the whole World War II tie-in with this whole story of all these movies, that does nothing for me at all. And apparently he puts his wife's spirit or something into one of his puppets. He called her Elsa. Pretty sure that was the name of his, wife who got shot that we just found out in the last movie. So Elsa is now a puppet. But the puppets look really cool. And I guess we're going to see Leech Girl or Leech Woman again because this is before the last 2 movies. And she got incinerated and sent to fucking hell in that one. So hope we see her. I like Leech Woman. I like leeches. Oh. So I missed that. So yeah, that was Leech Woman. That he was putting his wife's spirit, whatever you want to call it, into the puppet, it did not look like Leech Woman. Like, it really looked totally different. Because then they go and they kill the other puppeteer, and Pinhead, like, smashes him in the face with a hammer, and then she starts putting the leeches on him. And, like, the whole thing with Leech Woman, like, why is that so hard to, like, escape death? Just, like, can't you just take the leeches off of you and throw, like, the very, very, very light puppet off of you and just run? I don't get it. And another thing is that all these movies, like American movies and stuff, they always portray the Germans as like so easy to kill. Like for every American that gets killed, the 80 Germans are fucking wiped out. And I get it because we're Americans and we think we're the shit. But I'd like to see the opposite. Like I'd like to see a movie like where we just get away and win by the skin of our fucking teeth. When you're just hearing the numbers come through, it's like, hey, we got 10,000 dead Americans. How many of them? There's fucking 8 million. Obviously, the numbers don't make sense historically, so think of it as an Inglourious Bastards alternate history timeline type thing. But then just at the end, be like, man, we only had 5 soldiers left alive, but we did it. We finally won the war. Something. It's always the opposite way. It's always that we just mow them down. I mean, you see this in video games too. Wolfenstein, Stein, I don't know. I say either or. The Wolfenstein games. Now I'm gonna fucking want to know how it's actually said. Killing Nazis like crazy. You're just one guy, and you even get to come back to life every time. So they got to work on something like that. Make a movie that just by the hair on our balls, we happen to win like the war. I don't know, script writers, get on it. And this movie is only 80 minutes. I forgot to look what the other two were, but pretty sure it's close to that. Still kind of boring. Like, it really is. Like, this just isn't my series. So, that's why I'm stopping whenever Tubi stops with the installments. Maybe it'll get better, but this is boring as fuck so far. Like, I'm having more fun eating pretzels and almost dying than watching the movie. So, hopefully something happens. I do really like the score, though, in this one. Like, not even just the main theme, just like the rest of the score through the movie so far. Good stuff. And then there's the scientist who stole Toulon's liquid chemical that brings his puppets to life. He's trying them on dead soldiers still, and like trying to see if that works. And hilarious. Like the guy just like gets up, and it looks cool. Like he's like missing half his head, and then he goes to grab a gun and put it in his mouth, and like shoots himself. And the doctor's all excited, the scientist, and like the other guy's looking at him like it's the same shit. But he's saying they're not violent this time. I mean, holding a gun for any reason, it's gonna make me think that you're fucking violent. So I don't know what makes him think that he wasn't violent, but it's not working well for the scientists, is what I'm trying to say. Like, not at all. And how fucking hard is it for Nazi Germany in Berlin to find this old puppet maker? Like, seriously? Like, they can't find Toulon. The Nazi fucking army in the largest city in Germany, right? Yeah, I'll go with yeah for now. Yeah, and they can't find Toulon no matter what. Get like 100 people, 100 Nazis, get them together, go find this old fucking guy. It's not like he's running marathons that fast, like to get out of Germany. He's old as shit. Maybe that's why they casted the guy in this one to look a lot younger. Maybe it happens. I don't know. And that's the fun thing about doing these little watch me watch formatted videos, is that I'm just guessing shit. Like if it's a movie or franchise that I haven't seen or I haven't seen in a long time, I'm just making guesses. And then I get to correct them later if it's shown to me, like in the movie. So I don't know. And where the fuck is Blade? I haven't seen him yet. And Six Shooter, if he's here during this in the prequel, where the fuck was he in the first movie? We see Six Shooter none in the first movie. We only see him for the first time in the last movie, in the second. So was he on fucking holiday? Shout out to my British friends. Was he on vacation or some shit? Or they they didn't think of him then, and now it just doesn't make sense. That's what happened. But yeah, six shooters here the whole time. And I like Jester. He's actually like evil. I said this in the last one, but this one he's more evil. Like I don't think I've seen his like other side of his face yet, like his happy face, which is cool. And he's killing motherfuckers too, which is cool to see. But when he runs, I'll save this. Speaking of six shooter too, I don't know how it works with his guns. He has like six of them, but they're so small and like if you got shot by him, like I imagine that you would just kind of your reaction would be like, "Ow, come here, you little motherfucker!" Like it can't kill you, right? Like I've seen small guns before, not as small as these, but I've seen like think of Men in Black with the what do they call it, the cricket or some shit. And Will Smith is all upset that he's like, I got this small ass little gun, but it's like the most powerful gun there is. Like, yeah, but this is even smaller. So like, is it all six fire at once, and the combined bullets from the six of them equals the bullet of one regular gun? I don't know how any of it works, but the stop motion is kind of getting a little iffy. So and they looked better near the start, but it's starting to have a few shots here and there. That's ooh, that doesn't really look too good. But it's Puppet Master 3, so this is why I'm not excited to get to like Puppet Master 13, whatever the fuck the title for that is. Just not too excited for it. There's some like Nazi woman romance plot, subplot thrown in here. I don't give a shit, like at all. I fucking knew it. See? Six shooter shows up to the guy who was having the Nazi having the relationship with the girl that was just thrown in there to pad the fucking runtime that's already 80 minutes. And six shooter shows up and he fires at him once. He seems fine. And then he grabs a gun and tries shooting. He shoots one of his arms off. Maybe that's why six shooter's missing from the first one. Maybe he gets destroyed by the end of this. And somehow someone puts him back together without having the green liquid and shit, which we don't see, like I said. But he shoots him like 5 more times, and this guy just fucking falls out a window to his death. And he was already like pretty much dead from the bullets. So none of this works at all. Like you might as well put a cannon in his arms. That'll be more believable. Cannon Boy or something. Come up with a better name. I'll change the fucking video. I'll edit it. That's a big thing for me. I don't do that ever. So think of a better canon puppet name. And it's still not going to happen. I'll edit the video. Yeah. And this is like a tiny, tiny little nitpick. But it annoys me the way that Toulon says fugitive. He says fugitive. I don't know. It's very distracting too. Like, fugitive. We are now all fugitives. It's fucking Oh, come on. They're fucking Mr. Pitt from Seinfeld, the scientist. He gets called in and Lynch does a great job in this, actually. Richard Lynch is the best performance in this movie. And they're already there where the guy got shot by six shooter, and he says to the scientist, like, I've never seen a bullet this small. Yeah, thank you. I already covered that, so stop interrupting me. And right in the next room, the scientist walks in there, and his arm, six shooter's arm that got shot off, is laying right in view on the ground. And the major's like, what is this? Where did you find this? You didn't look past that one room. Like, none of them walked into the place further. Because there's no way they were missing that fucking arm. It's right on the floor. And he even says that he's never seen a fucking bullet that small. It would have made sense if he found the arm and, oh, okay, so this went in this. I don't know. There's so many stupid things in this movie. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, why is this scientist trying to bring dead soldiers to life now that he has Toulon's chemical that works 100%? Why not try it on just anything else, like anything else than a dead human being. Go to a taxidermy place and like stick it into like the biggest animals that they have there. If they have like a fucking alligator, crocodile, some shit, anything, like a cougar, shoot like 100 cougars up with this shit and have just like monstrous mutant cougars on the battlefield. That's going to help you a lot more than a human shield, like 100%. So they can put this thing in anything because they haven't established any rules for this chemical that, again, I don't know if we're ever going to see again or who knows. Put it in something better than a dead human being with a hole in his head. I don't know, just food for thought. While I'm at it, after I just said that, food for thought, it's a weird fucking phrase. Like it's implying that you'll give food for a thought. Everyone has thoughts. Like, I have a fuck ton of them. They never stop. Food is much more integral to people's fucking, staying alive. So why isn't it thought for food? I'll give you a thought. Give me some food. We'd have a lot less homeless people if we just switch that phrase around, 100%. So start using the opposite. Use thought for food, and we might solve the homelessness problem in America. Now, hiding out in this cellar that Toulon's been like hiding in, and then there's the kid from the beginning of the movie that stole candy or some shit, or I wasn't paying attention during that part, but something to do with candy. And he's a fat kid, it makes sense. But he and his father show up. So him and his father are now staying with Toulon in this cellar because they're all fugitives now. I've totally forgot what I was going to say with that, so we'll just continue on. I remember. These people are sleeping in the cellar to hide from the Nazis. Do you know how hard it would probably be to sleep with Nazis after you? I hardly sleep and can't sleep just without Nazis chasing after me. I would never be able to sleep again if I was being chased by Nazis or anybody that's trying to kill me. I'd have to go on like a meth binge. Like, give up all my morals, say, fuck it, I'm trying meth. And just never fucking go to sleep again. Because there's no way I would close my eyes for a second, knowing that the fucking Nazis can find me at any moment. Especially if I was with my daughter, like this guy's with his kid. If I was with my kid, I would never be able to sleep. And like I said, I barely sleep without the Nazi problem. I don't know, I give them a lot of credit because that seems so hard to do. And Mr. Pitt from Seinfeld, I always forget the actor's name. He does a great job in this movie too. Like, he was phenomenal in Seinfeld. Everything I've seen him in, which is a decent amount of things, like from the 90s especially. Awesome. So he does a good job as the scientist in here. And Toulon does a good job too. So Toulon and fucking Richard Lynch. I always want to just say David Lynch because I love that man so much. Richard Lynch and the other guy, I said good. They're all doing good performances. I guess it somehow makes sense because about the sleeping thing with the Nazis, they're just stupid. I guess that's why they sleep. Because the little boy, not only does he sleep when Nazis are after him, he decides to go to Toulon's place that I thought was on fire. No, that's where he does the show, I guess. This is like his laboratory to collect things, like parts of puppets and like tools. And then he gets caught by the scientist and some other guy. So he's just a stupid kid. And where was his dad during this? Like, his dad just let him go out. Nazis were after me. My kid would be chained to me. You're not fucking going anywhere. He left for some reason to get shit for no reason. I don't know, but we'll find out. And Jester, when he walks, and it's only been like twice so far in this movie, but he walks like he jizzed his pants. Like, he walks like so happy with like this cheery fucking it's so creepy. It is actually effectively creepy. But that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he just jizzed his pants. Like, immensely. Alright, so now we get some like really important information. And this whole scene with the scientist Pitt and Toulon. So the scientist comes to like visit him and wants to like know his secret for bringing his puppets to life. Is a great scene, like a really cool scene. Like I love the dynamic between both of them on screen together. But we find out that all of these puppets used to be human beings, like friends of Toulon's. That one got they got gunned down during the war and everything. We find out why he started making these puppets because he used to teach anatomy, and after the war started and everything, he didn't like the sight of blood, and so it took a different direction. He's working with puppets. There's no blood. Makes sense. Like, good to have this information. So apparently, all the puppets, which he refers to as his friends, really were his friends. And I guess they're so loyal friends that they're willing to fucking kill for him, like, anytime. Like, I mean, yeah, they're puppets now. It's not what are they gonna do? Get thrown in prison or lethal injection? I don't know. But they still haven't explained the serum. But he said that the secret to bringing them to life, and I forgot all about that. It was like an Egyptian spell or some shit. But yeah, he went to Egypt with Elsa, his wife, like years ago, and that's all he really says. He says it's simple, that it's in like every museum like in the country that or anywhere that you can find, but he hasn't said what it is yet. So I'm hoping we get an explanation on this serum stuff because it doesn't exist before this movie, like I keep saying. So who knows? But we're getting information. We're getting very crucial information here. Oh, so this fat bastard went to rat out Toulon. That's why he wasn't with his son. He fucking went to Lynch's character, the Major Krause, I think it is. Yeah, Major Krause, to rat out Toulon for his own freedom for him, his wife, and his son. So that's where he was when his son was out and about when the Nazis were looking for them. And speaking of that, the scientist, man, like he's taking some risk going here to see Toulon, and if it's ever found out that he went to visit him and he didn't say anything, he's getting fucking killed immediately. So he's taking one hell of a chance, like going over just to find out. But I guess you're a scientist, and this is like probably the most amazing discovery in science, like ever, that you can bring inanimate objects to life. So I guess it makes sense, but he's getting shot in the head if they find out he went and saw him. Like, without a doubt, 100%. And I love Six Shooter's little his little laugh he does. Awesome. I'm sorry for what I'm about to say, but this kid calls people strangers his friend way too fast. Like, this is the type of kid who gets raped by a child molester, like 100%. Toulon is his friend, like after knowing him for like a few days. Then he meets the scientist guy. The scientist came when the kid was out already. He's the one who found him trying to take the parts and stuff from Toulon's place and brought him back to the cellar. He's known him, what, a day? And now this is his friend. So, again, didn't want to go there, but this is the type of kid who's going to get molested or some shit. Because he takes friends in way too fucking fast without knowing a lick about them. That came out kind of wrong. And this cellar, this place that they're hiding in, the outside of it, when they show it, the most obvious looking hiding place ever. Like, if I was a Nazi and I was up, you got to be on the lookout for this guy Toulon. That's the first place I'd go. It's like a dilapidated, like condemned building, like stone building or some shit. It's just screaming, come here, you'll find us. They could have found such better hiding places. Like, come on. And again, with the leech woman thing. One of the soldiers gets drilled in the leg by Tunneler. Looks alright. I mean, nothing in this movie so far, or I'm guessing at all, because there's like fucking 15 minutes left, has any good effects or anything like that, or kills or anything like that. So that's one thing that makes this series kind of boring for me. That is just, it goes on the story pretty much alone, and it's just not that interesting to me at all. The first two are fine. Like I said, once it jumps into this whole thing with the war and stuff like that, just does not interest me. But the thing with Leech Woman again, like he gets drilled in the leg by a tunneler, falls to the ground, and then Leech Woman's up on something, and she starts spitting leeches on his face, and one lands like right here, and all he's doing is just over and over again. His hands are free, like he has two of these. I don't know, like it doesn't have to make sense. Of course, it's stupid, but if I was writing a movie like this, oh god, we'll just move on and get the fuck out of here. Fucking this soldier walks past the doorway and he hears the and it's six shooter, and he just turns and looks, and six shooter just blasts him away, and fucking all the bullets go like fly out his back. Like, come on, man! Like, this is so ridiculous. Scientist Mr. Pitt is dead. So Toulon and his friends, the puppets, get to safety, and with the kid apparently, and we get to see the little. He has like a dream. He falls asleep, and we get to see Mephistopheles, the puppet that we see in the flashback in the last movie. I don't know why they don't use this puppet, like except for these flashbacks, unless, like I said, further down the line. It's my favorite looking puppet. Like, it's so cool the way he's designed. Like, I have all of, not all, but you guys have seen in the background in the other room with all the Puppet Master figures I got. I love that one. I've always loved the design of Mephistopheles. And it seems like he's only in that little flashback scene. Unless he comes back. I'm really hoping he does. No Blade in this movie. We get Blade none. Like, not Blade 1. None. At all. So I don't know when he was invented and when he got made or anything like that. And there was one other thing then. The lizard guy. The lizard puppet looks fucking awesome too. How come all the coolest puppets don't exist anymore? I want a story. I want an explanation because it's really bothering me. Like, the lizard one looks so cool. What his special ability would be? I mean, I don't know. He spits acid or some shit, like Reptile from Mortal Kombat. That's all I can guess. And I think that's a pretty damn good guess, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. That would be cool. If we see him down the line and he just shoots acid on somebody's face, and then like comes up like fatality. Awesome. But the design of both Mephistopheles and Lizard Man, whatever the fuck his name is, well, my favorite. Like, two favorites so far in this franchise. And we see them for like literally less than a minute. So I don't know. And where's Blade? He's playing fucking hooky from this movie. Blade has arrived. This was literally like 20 seconds after I paused, like the last time. So he showed up. So we got Blade here. So good to see him. Now, Leech Woman, again, it's magic. I get it. Where do all those leeches keep coming from? Like, does he have to reload her with leeches? Like, before they go out to kill people, like, every single time? Because look at her. Like, she's not bulging like she's pregnant with leeches. So, do they just keep coming out infinitely? And it's just chopped up to magic? Or does he actually, because don't we see him put leeches into her at some point? Maybe even this movie that I don't remember. But that's the thing, right? Doesn't he put leeches in the puppet of her? So apparently you do put leeches into her, but then we never see that again. She can just like spit leeches out of her mouth at will. So I don't know how that all works. Just a thought. So Toulon gets his revenge on Kraus, and he ends up tying him up and lifting him all the way up near the ceiling of this room that they're in, and just like gives some little final words and stuff, and then just lights the flag on fire, which leads to a fucking axe or some shit. It's very elaborate, like that. It didn't need to be. Like, it really didn't have to be that elaborate. It looked cool though. It's a cool scene. Like, and the axe like chops the rope, and then he just plummets back down to his death. Again, I mean, why go through that much work? And this old fucking guy, Toulon, he's taking the time to do all this. Just sick fucking Leech Woman, his wife. and the other one, and have Blade, who didn't do shit this whole movie and just came out of nowhere. Have them just tear him to shreds. That'd be a lot more satisfying than just seeing him fucking plummet from the ceiling. I don't know. Could have been better. Maybe it's just me because I mix up my words and shit. My fucking brain races 1,000 miles a minute with anxiety and stuff. So I'll mix up words and stuff. But anytime somebody says like, "Oh, nice dolls," like this girl says at the end, and he says, "They're not dolls, they're puppets." Fuck you. Really? Like, because she didn't use the correct term? She knows what the fuck they are. You really don't have to distinguish that. That's just being an annoying prick to me. Anytime that happens, a ventriloquist dummy or a puppet, any of those terms, dolls that are confused, and the person just has to point out to seem smart or something, and that they know the difference. Like, ventriloquist dummy, look at me scary. No, that's not a ventriloquist dummy. That's actually an 18th century ancient fucking voodoo. Like, come on, just let the girl, especially as a kid, let the girl go. She just said doll, let her say doll. You got to correct her. And him and Toulon and the young kid are headed off to fucking Switzerland. And then that's it. That's the end. Like, basically, that's it. We see a six-shooter pop up. So we still have questions here. What's the whole serum thing about? Where the fuck was six-shooter for the first movie if he was around now? We don't get any answer for that. Where was Blade this whole time? That's pretty much like the only real ones I can think of. Let me think. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But those are pretty big questions, especially with the serum thing. So I don't know if I'm going to watch the fourth one tonight. Like, it's already like 2 in the morning almost. And I feel like I have to break these ones up like by at least like 6 hours. Because I would not be able to sit through like 5 Puppet Master movies. I just can't. Like, I might kill myself. This has been a dark video of killing myself. Thanks, pretzels. Almost fucking making me choke. But I wouldn't be able to do it. It would just be too much. We need a break and to watch something serious. Or watch something just better in any way. But that's Puppet Master 3. Toulon's Revenge, which he does get. And next one I'll have up is obviously the fourth one. And then this week I'm trying to get scheduled together with a subscriber friend of mine who is a self-proclaimed expert on ABCs of Death 1 and 2. So if anyone hasn't seen that anthology series with like the 26 short stories, cool stuff. So we might do a stream on the first one like Friday night maybe, and then a stream on the second movie on Saturday night, Sunday, something like that. So that's coming. Nightmare on Elm Street series. It's already halfway through the month, but it's coming. I'm starting it probably Friday and going through the weekend. It's not a long series. I mean, it'll probably just be over by the end of this weekend. Like 3 days, the weekend, it's done. There's only 6 movies. 7 if you count the dreadful fucking remake. But I already did Freddy vs. Jason in the Jason timeline. So that one's already taken care of. So it's only 6 movies plus the remake. So that's not bad. So we'll have that, and then the Phantasm series, I know I have to still do. I did the first one. Only reason it really took this long is that I have them on DVD, but my DVD player in here, like I'd have to reconnect it and disconnect my Xbox or my PS5 or one of those, and it's too much work. Like it is, like for now. Like when I'm actually hell-bent on, all right, let's watch like the next few Phantasm ones, then I'll hook up the DVD player and stuff. The other ones are all streaming everywhere, and it's only the second movie that is never found online. And I know it has something to do with rights and stuff, and the actor who replaced Mike's actor from the first movie, because then we get the original Mike back in the third and fourth and fifth one. So I know it has something to do with that, why you never see it streaming. But every other Phantasm one is streaming on every free like streaming service ever. So Phantasm series coming. Hopefully those ABCs of Death streams. And yeah, Sunday night we have the Midnight Society, me, Al, and Pat on a new episode. And I'm trying to think. I'll probably have some more 60-second reviews up those little shorts throughout the week for sure. So fun stuff in November leading up to Turkey Day, which I was trying to get for the last month or so, like a decent surprise for people who are slasher fans and love a certain slasher film set on Thanksgiving, which that ain't leaving really any mystery if you're a slasher fan, because there is one and only one. Like I think there's another one actually, but it's so bad and like not known. But everyone knows this movie. I've been trying to work something out, but apparently the person I'm working through is a fucking moron on every level. Like unimaginably stupid and like fucking selfish and money hungry. So who knows about that, but that's some fun stuff coming up. So I'll have Puppet Master 4 up probably in the early morning or something like that. So wherever you guys are from, hope you're having a good day, good night, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.